If you can see me, thank you so much for being here with me. My name is Otis Landerholm. I am the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. And thank you so much for being here with me. I'll give you just a second to join in. Today we're talking politics, all right? Now's the time. It's the end of the year. It's December 2021, and there's a last push, all right? If 2021 is going to mean something, which it hasn't meant anything yet, really, for immigration reform, but something could still pass, all right? Something could still pass, and so we want to check it out. We want to tune in. So everybody join me. Welcome. Thank you for being with me. I'm honored and happy to be here with you on another episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. Today we're talking about the Build Back Better Act, all right, and the Build Back Better campaign of 2021, and specifically what we're talking about with immigration reform inside this latest proposal, all right? So remember, on the Empowered Immigrant Live, we are here to train, to teach, to inspire, and to empower immigrants to make the most out of immigration laws and to make the most out of their lives, all right? And today our theme is the Build Back Better Act of 2021. And thank you to everyone who submitted your questions. If you're here with me now and if you've got a question, hey, send it over, all right? We've got 30 minutes, as always, to discuss this topic in English, and then we'll do this episode in Spanish, okay? Así que si usted habla español, que venga con nosotros en 30 minutos a las 2:30 de la tarde. Nos vemos en 30 minutos. All right, and back to English. We'll do this episode in English, and we will jump right into it, all right? As always, before we go into the questions, I want to talk about the basics. We've always got to talk about the basics. So basics number one is the Build Back Better Act, right? The whole budget, infrastructure, budget reconciliation package, the Build Back Better Act. It has passed the House, all right? But it has not yet passed the Senate. So it is not a law yet, all right? It is not a law yet. It is not, enacted. We're not sure exactly what the provisions of the final version of the law will be yet. It has passed the House, and now we're waiting to see what's going to happen in the Senate. Also, all right, about the basics, it is not just an immigration bill at all, right? In fact, immigration touches just a very small percentage of what this bill is. This bill is huge. It is a huge proposal. It's got tax issues. It's got infrastructure issues, financial services issues. It could potentially reduce the cost of health care. There's many other pieces of it that are outside of what I am going to be talking about today. But on immigration, all right, on immigration, there's some things in there that are exciting, all right? It's not as exciting as I wish it were, but hey, it's better than anything else that we've seen all year, all right? And it's closer to actually passing something than anything that we've come near to so far this year. What the main provisions are is, first, it'll allow people to get a temporary parole status, all right? Giving them a work authorization card, which will be valid for 5 years and renewable again for a total of 10 years on parole. It'll allow people with that type of temporary parole to be able to get a travel document also, so that people who feel like they're stuck in the United States would be able to travel and go see their loved ones without triggering the bars, right? That's always the prohibition on travel. And in order to qualify for it, according to the proposal that passed the House, a person has to show that they have been physically present in the United States since before January 1st of 2011. All right? And so we're talking more than 10 years. Okay? And so if you've got more than 10 years, if you've got since December 31st of 2010 until now of physical presence in the United States, then you could potentially qualify for this type of parole. Now, is it a pathway to citizenship? Not specifically. Not specifically. But being paroled into the United States allows people who have immediate relatives, children who are U.S. citizens who turn 21, spouses who are U.S. citizens, to then, so if you're an immigrant on parole, you're allowed to adjust your status through that parole if you have that type of relationship, okay? And so that is a pathway towards citizenship for some people. And in this bill, there's another provision of law that I want to explain that I'm also excited about that will allow more people to get green cards who have been waiting in the backlogs of the family and the employment visa processes. Some people you hear about, when you petition for a sibling, for example, sometimes it takes years, all right? In Mexico or India, we're talking 20 years it can take, all right? And so this new proposal will allow people to capture some of the green cards that could have been issued in previous years but weren't. So it'll allow people to recapture some old green cards that were in that backlog. It'll also allow people to pay a fee to move forward in that process if they want to. All right, kind of a smart, potentially smart provision. All right. Now, another thing to be aware of as far as the basics, all right, the first step as we start looking at the Senate and what the Senate is going to do to it, the first step, and this was the truth in the other proposals also, is the Senate parliamentarian, all right, has to review the immigration aspect of this bill to see whether or not it can move forward as part of like the budgeting process. Because remember, the budgeting process is subject to separate rules within the Senate, and the Senate parliamentarian has basically got to make sure that the bill complies with the Senate's own rules, because otherwise that would cause all kinds of other problems. And remember, it was the Senate parliamentarian that struck down Plan A and Plan B of immigration reform earlier this year. And so what we're looking at now, and the thing that passed the House, is essentially Plan C. And so sometimes you'll hear people talk about it. Okay, now we're on Plan C. We'll see if it passes, right? And heck, maybe it does. The thing is it's not a pathway to citizenship, all right? So it's not as good as what we were wanting. It's not as good as what Biden had hoped for at the beginning of the year and as he was campaigning, right? It's not as good as what people want, all right? It's not as good as what people deserve, okay? And maybe it's enough to at least be able to pass it, to be able to compromise on it, to be able to work together to get something done. The third and final part of the provision that I'm going to share right now is the more simple part, very, very much associated with the budget. It will allocate $2.8 billion with a B of dollars to U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Service that they can use to hire more officials. They want to hire 3,000 more government officials and basically use to attack the backlogs and get the Citizenship and Immigration Service back and fully functioning so that it can, get back on track with handling all of its processes that it's now so behind on, partly because of the pandemic. Okay? Hopefully everything I said is clear. If you have got any questions about it, please send me your questions. I mean, that's what today's all about, right? Send me your questions. Let's talk it through, okay? Now, I want to be clear that this will not be easy to pass. Laws in this country at a federal level are never easy to pass, all right? Now, it passed the House, which passing one side of Congress is never easy, even that. It did pass the House, and that was not easy. But the Senate, where it is now, is going to be even more difficult, even more challenging. If only one Democratic senator disagrees, this thing will fail. Okay? And so you got to keep that in mind. It's not going to be easy. And what that means is, even parts of what I just said might have to be compromised away. All right? Hopefully not. Hopefully it can stand true to at least this. If it did pass, if it were to pass, what do you need to know? All right? If it did pass, if it were to pass, what do you need to know? Okay, one, it would give you work authorization for 5 years at a time, up to 10 years total, all right? And a previous president will have the power to renew and extend it after those 10 years. It's written right into it, okay? So gives the president that power. Also, it's written right in there, it'll give people the benefit to apply for state driver's licenses, all right? Some states allow it now, some states don't allow it now, all right? And so it's like this clarifies it. It'll give immigrants who have this parole, this work authorization, the ability to apply for a driver's license from their state. And it allows people to benefit from a parole status, which means, as I mentioned earlier, some people will be eligible to adjust status in the U.S. If you have a spouse who's a U.S. citizen or a child who's a U.S. citizen who's turned 21, wants to petition for you, this will allow some of those people to be able to adjust status because they'll be paroled, under the provisions of law. All right. And if it were to pass, this is not something that goes into effect right away. All right. If it were to pass, it'll go into effect 180 days after the law's enacted. All right. So say it's enacted on January 1st. You'd be looking at July 1st. They'd be able to receive their first applications. Okay? And so something to keep in mind, 180 days, 6 months after the law is enacted, it'll go into effect. Okay, great. So that's all I wanted to say. That's the basics. All right? That's the basics. And so now I want to answer your questions. All right? My first question was submitted from Jose. All right, Jose, thank you. Thank you so much for being with me. My first question says, I entered the U.S. in 1997. I worked for 14 years in the same business. I paid my taxes. And later, under the Obama administration and under the E-Verify process, my business had to let me go. They had to fire me for not having a valid Social Security card. And that was back in 2014. And now I go here and there working for cash, and I'm behind on my taxes now. And if this reform passes, this Plan C passes, will I even have any hope? All right? Man, Jose, great question. Great question, and thank you for asking that question. In my opinion, Jose, you ready? In my opinion, yes, you would qualify. All right? And yeah, we've got to wait and see whether it passes. And yeah, we've got to wait and read the final language of the bill, all right? Because, we've got to determine whether or not the language that gives this parole process is still in the bill when and if it passes. But yes, Jose, as written by the House, you should qualify as long as you don't have any, criminal record that we don't know about. If you've been in the U.S. for over 10 years, if you had paid your taxes from back in 1997, if you can show physical presence since, before 2011 until now, hey, you'll be eligible. All right? And so, Jose, I hope that helps you. The best thing to start doing, just to kind of put it out there, is to start gathering your documents. All right? Yeah, you got taxes from those years. Well, for the years that you don't have taxes, what evidence do you have? Because they're going to be talking about continuous physical presence proof. All right? So you're going to need to prove that you've stayed and been residing in the United States throughout those 10 years. That's the thing to start thinking about, Jose, so you can start working and putting together your packet if it were to pass, right? I don't want us to get ahead of ourselves, but that is the situation. All right, my next question. My next question comes from Kodaline. Kodaline, you ask, my green card expires in April. If I apply for my citizenship now, how long will it take? Great question, Kodaline. Nice to meet you. Thank you for asking that question. Right now, citizenship applications, at least that my office is filing, at least here in San Francisco in the Bay Area, all right? Right now, citizenship applications are taking 14 and a half to 19 months, all right? 14 and a half to 19 months, a year and a half on average, roughly. And so if you've had your green card for over 5 years, right? If you haven't left the U.S. for more than 6 months, if you've paid your taxes, if you don't have a criminal record, you're a person of quote-unquote good moral character, then yes, you're likely eligible to apply for citizenship. And if you'd like help with that, Kodaline, hey, please give my office a call. We'd love to help you with it. It sounds like you're probably eligible, but you would need to go, I advise you to go get a full consultation with an immigration attorney first, just to make sure that it's recommendable and advisable to apply for citizenship. And if so, heck, go for it. All right? Very good. Very good. All right, my next question comes from Jessica. All right? Jessica, you ask, my VAWA case has been pending for 3.5 years now. It was filed in May of 2018. My work authorization request was pending for 1 year now. It was filed December of 2020. I have family to take care of. What's the implication of working without authorization? How will that affect my case? Okay, I love it. Thank you, Jessica. Very good question. Thank you for asking that. I'm sorry that your case has taken so long. First of all, sorry your case has taken so long. I was looking at the Vermont Service Center. They're saying that right now for VAWA cases, they're taking 22 and a half to 29 and a half months. Okay? That's a long time. All right? And so well over 2 years to grant VAWA. And so, and it says that they can receive inquiries on cases that were submitted before July 11th of 2019, which means that your case, Jessica, you said you filed it in May of 2018. Your case is outside of standard processing times. And so, you should see my videos about what to do in that situation. But basically, in my opinion, you have the right to start doing inquiries, to start doing follow-ups. You can do an ombudsman request. You can start to put more pressure on USCIS because it sounds like your case is outside of what is normal for VAWA cases, for your type of case. All right? So that's the first thing. And second thing, Jessica, to answer your question, if you work without authorization, all right, listen, if you work under the table, if you work without authorization, it will not cause your VAWA case to be denied. It will not. Okay? In my experience, it will not affect your VAWA case at all. All right? If you need to take care of yourself, if you've got kids, you need to take care of your kids. If you need to work under the table to support yourself and your family, do it. You can still get your VAWA case approved. You heard it from me. All right? Now, that's not true. That's not true for all applications with immigration. So other people listening, but for you, Jessica, in your situation for VAWA, it is true, okay? And I hope that this helps you. And if you have other questions about your VAWA case, hey, feel free to give my office a call, okay? All right, great. Those were all the questions that were originally submitted, but I see some here. Miguel Chacon, hello, welcome. All right, thank you for being here with me. You say they said they will change the date to 2016. Do you have any news on that? Okay, lots of negotiations. The Senate, all right? The Senate is thinking about, hey, what could they do? What could they change? What could they pass? Nothing is sure yet. Lots of people, different senators are going to be proposing various tweaks to this bill. So you're right, various people are off and will be following those. My latest understanding is they're hoping to make a vote on this thing. They're hoping to pass this thing by Christmas, which means it's right now December 9th. We got 16 more days, is that right? To watch this thing and to see what exactly is going to come in to the final bill, all right? So Miguel, thank you for asking that question. The next question is Juan, from Juan Ospina. Juan, thank you for being here with me. You say, do you know what year of visas the U visa, immigration is working on approximately? Sure, all right? The latest U visas that my office has recently gotten approved were submitted in 2015, okay? I hope that's helpful. The latest U visas as of today's date that my office got approved were submitted in 2015, okay? And so that's something to keep in mind. Similar question, Jatin, welcome. Thank you for being here with me. You say I applied for a U visa in 2017. I want to know how long it will take until I can get it. All right, here's the deal on U visas. Absent some change in the law, right? Absent some change in the law, they can only approve 10,000 U visas each year. But in history, right, USCIS has received more than 30,000 U visas in every year for the past 6 years, all right? Which means, Jatin, if you submitted it in 2017, in my experience, it'll be 3 years for USCIS to get through 2016 first. And then on that 4th year, they'll start 2017. In the 5th year, they'll be May through September of 2017, approximately. And in the 6th year, they'll probably be in October, November, December-ish of 2017. Get it? And so depending on when in 2017 you submitted your case, that's what may very well happen. That's what may very well happen in your case, absent a change in the law. Okay? All right, my next question comes from Abdulohab. All right? Abdulohab, thank you so much for being here with me. You asked me this on Facebook. You say, hello, what happened with U visas pending from 2018 in this Plan C? Any update? All right, great question. Great question. Really, this Plan C, if you might be eligible for this Plan C parole, even if you've got a U visa pending. I wanted to clarify that, all right? So if you have a U visa that you filed in 2018, but if you were physically present in the U.S. since before January 1st of 2011, you could still qualify for this parole process. I hope that might help some of the people that have asked about U visas. And in my read of it, there's nothing specifically that addresses U visas, all right, in the House's proposal. And we will see what happens as it works its way through the Senate, and we'll see what the final bill is, okay? Now, coming back to Miguel. Miguel, I see your question here. It says, my case was denied for absence. Okay, well, I don't know what exactly you mean by that, Miguel. We never received our date to present in court. Oh, that's what it is. We filed a motion to reopen. They denied the motion to reopen. Anything else I can do? Okay, good question, Miguel. Thank you for asking that question. Let's look at the reasons that they denied the motion to reopen. Why did they deny it? And how recently did they deny it? Because sometimes you can appeal the denial of a motion to reopen if the BIA or if the immigration judge made a mistake there. Sometimes you can file another motion to reopen if there's other compelling reasons. Sometimes you might be eligible for a U visa or something else. And if this parole thing happens, hey, you might still be eligible for that as well. All right? There's a lot of uncertainties there. Miguel, just to answer your specific issue, hey, if you have that motion to reopen and if you want to discuss it, hey, let's get in touch. Schedule a consultation. Let's look at it and let's see what we can do to fix it. Okay? All right, everybody. It is 2:27. Thank you all so much for being here with me. Before before wrapping up on this topic, really, thanks to everyone for your questions. I do want to say kind of one final word of wisdom, all right? Please don't pay anyone to help you apply for this Plan C and this immigration reform stuff, all right? There's scammers out there. Like, I just want to say, hey, alert, right? Be smart. It hasn't actually passed yet. And there are scammers, and there are people that are feeding false information, and there are people that are just flat out fraudulent, all right, that are out there and that are like, hey, pay me a bunch of money and I'll apply for this new law for you. Yeah, you can't do that yet. So don't do that. Don't fall prey of that kind of nonsense, okay? The only thing that makes sense to do right now is to start gathering your documents, or for some people to start requesting your immigration records, okay? And that's something that, yes, you know, our office could help you with that, or any law firm could help you with that, to request all of your immigration file, just so that we have all our ducks in order if something were to pass, right? But you can't file any actual application to the government, all right, regarding this reform stuff. So don't fall in the, you know, don't fall prey to some crazy people who are saying that they can help you apply for something. All right, that's it. It's 2:29. I got to go do this in Spanish. If you speak Spanish, join me on the next one. We can continue the conversation. If I answered your question, hey, thank you for submitting your question. If I haven't answered your question, as always, I still will and I still want to. All right, so send me your question. I'll still answer it and I'll upload it to YouTube. If this was useful, please subscribe to our channel here in YouTube. Please click the notifications bell. All right, please share our channel with others. We're trying to grow what we're doing here. When you hit the notifications bell, you'll get additional legal updates. Man, if this thing passes, I'm going to be screaming from like the rooftops to try and let the whole world know. And you got to help me. You got to help me to let your community and your people know. Because if this thing does happen, I mean, it'll be a game changer. All right? And so here, and the last thing I'll say is, if you do have an immigration case now, I mean, if you're eligible for a green card now, screw this parole thing, right? We can apply for your green card now. Don't wait for this law. But if you're not eligible for a green card now, hey, stay tuned to politics. We'll see if they can fix something. Let's see if they can change something. And let's keep our pressure on Congress and see if they can actually move us forward. All right? So thank you so much for being with me. I really appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you. We'll be here again next Thursday. I'll be talking about the Biden administration. Politics will come up again a little bit more. We'll talk about what changes have been implemented in 2021. We'll do kind of our year update on immigration next Thursday. So come back and tune in for that next week, same time, same place. All right? Thanks so much to everybody. I'm Otis Landerholm, Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.